Donald Trump and J.D. Vance just did in the Oval Office is so embarrassing for the United States. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance met with President Zelensky of Ukraine in the Oval Office today, and it just became a screaming match. They were berating him with insults. Just take a look for yourself.
The president is trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loud. He's not speaking loud. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I answer?
No, you're not allowed to talk. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President.
And it got a lot worse than that. And Donald Trump was such a child about this that he canceled their joint press conference and canceled the lunch that they were meant to be having together. It's just so embarrassing for the United States. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are perfectly happy to cuss out President Zelensky of Ukraine, an ally of the United States. But when it comes to Putin, they're very complimentary. They call him smart and great and said that he's a tactical genius. They scream at leaders who are fighting for democracy and praise dictators. I mean, what's wrong with these guys? We have never seen foreign policy conducted in a more childish and vindictive way than what we're seeing from the Trump administration right now. I mean, this is disgusting. If TikTok ever gets banned, my Instagram, my YouTube, and my Substack are linked in my bio. That's where I'm going to be.
All right, Trumpers, breaking news. Donald Trump just kicked Zelensky out of the White House because they couldn't come to an agreement, and the language that he was using towards Donald Trump probably was not as bad as Donald Trump took it, but Donald Trump just does not understand how to communicate with people in the first fucking place. So at the end of the day, what this boils down to is, again, a president that's out of control, that does not know how to handle foreign leaders, and who's going to continue to run this place into the ground because his ego is way up here, but he's got a little man syndrome way down here because he can't put his ego aside to make America great again, which that whole slogan was just get me out of prison, as it was. So at the end of the day, Donald Trump, breaking news out of the White House, kicking the guy out. It's kind of unbelievable that this is what America has come to, that we're having to kick people out of the White House because we can't get along. I've never seen a president have to kick anybody out, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Joe Biden, because they all can get along with people. It just goes to show you the incompetency of the Trump administration. Thanks for fucking us again, MAGAs.
We have some big news right now. We have the first response to the President Zelensky-Donald Trump Oval Office meeting from the Russian government. Dmitry Medvedev, the former president of Russia, the current deputy chair of the Security Council of Russia, tweeted out, quote, "The insolent pig finally got a proper slapdown in the Oval Office, and Donald Trump is right. The Kiev regime is gambling with World War III." That is a direct statement from the Russian government. Medvedev was the former president of Russia. He is a close ally of current President Vladimir Putin. He currently serves as the deputy chair of the Security Council for Russia and is a top Russian official, a senior Russian official. We are still waiting for more coming from Russia, whether we'll hear from Vladimir Putin or one of his spokespeople or the government spokespeople about what just happened. But these are the first remarks right now. I'll do a full breakdown of this and more on my Substack shortly, linked in my bio, so subscribe for free. Comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along to stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about. More to come.
I'm not MAGA, please don't scroll. I have a moral compass and a soul. I just watched the full interview between Zelensky and Trump. To President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people, my most sincere and humble apologies on behalf of the United States of America. I'm not MAGA, please don't scroll. I have a moral compass and a soul. I just watched the full interview between Zelensky and Trump. To President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people, my most sincere and humble apologies on behalf of the United States of America. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance do not speak for the majority of Americans. We support the brave people of Ukraine. And Donald Trump and J.D. Vance's performance was absolutely embarrassing and absolutely disgraceful and disrespectful. President Zelensky handles himself with decorum, praiseworthy of the title, disrespects the name and title of president. Donald Trump is not a brave man. Donald Trump is not a strong man. Donald Trump is a 5-time draft dodger. And there are American veterans serving in the Foreign Legion, risking it all for Ukraine's freedom. American lives being lost at the hands of Russia's invading forces. President Zelensky wants a ceasefire, but understandably is skeptical of a ceasefire on paper when the other side never abides by a ceasefire. Stay strong, Ukraine, risking it all for Ukraine's freedom. American lives being lost at the hands of Russia's invading forces. President Zelensky wants a ceasefire, but understandably is skeptical of a ceasefire on paper when the other side never abides by a ceasefire. Stay strong, Ukraine. Stay admirable and honorable, President Zelensky. You have conducted yourself admirably. This American supports you, as do millions upon millions of other Americans. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. Trump, suka.
Ladies and gentlemen, a true hero visited the Oval Office today for a press conference. He was treated embarrassingly by the Donut T-Rump and Jebediah Dinkelshire Vance. My opinion as to why they treated him with such disregard and disrespect is because they both know that they could never be a quarter of the man that Vladimir Zelensky is. You could tell that they are both jealous of the man, the real man, that President Vladimir Zelensky is. After this meeting, the orange bloated petulant child Donut put out a post on Lies Social. Would you like to hear it? Because I would like to read it to you. Verbatim. Are you ready? Here we go. Bear with me. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's always amazing what comes out through emotion. And I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved. Because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace. Really? He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. Did he, or did you just act like a fucking brat? He can come back when he is ready for peace. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that the orange-bloated Donut and Jebediah Dinkelshire Vance are treating such a brave human being like President Vladimir Zelensky in this way. The only thing I could come up with is that they are so jealous of this man and his fortitude to go up against Vladimir Putin and still be such a cool dude. Yeah, the bloated orange donut and Jebediah Dinkelshire Vance. Two extremely weak individuals treated that wonderful, brave hero like trash. America should be fucking embarrassed. Enjoy your day.
This shit show that just happened in the Oval Office with J.D. Vance and Trump that set up Zelensky to browbeat him in front of the world is a disgrace to the United States. You European world leaders need to understand one thing about the current administration in America. They are bullies. They are bullies. And they will discard you on a drop of a hat. Keir Starmer came here and the only thing left to do was for him to get on his knees and give Trump a blowjob. It's a disgrace. England, the Europeans should never have left the European Union. But you let right-wing radicals convince you that you are better off on your own. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and none of this American administration can be trusted with anything. They will discard you like a piece of shit the minute that you cross them. So the rest of the world better get their act together and forget about the United States. You know what MAGA means to the rest of the world? Make America go away.
Trump and Zelensky just got into a shouting match in the Oval Office. And this is just because little Donnie didn't get what he wanted and he had a little tantrum. But all jokes aside, that is the truth. Donald Trump didn't get what he wanted out of Ukraine and he threw a tantrum. Trump wanted Ukraine to essentially accept a deal where they don't get their land back, they don't get NATO membership, and they barely get any security guarantees, but they get a fancy rare earth minerals contract with the U.S. Not good enough. The fact that Trump thinks he can call this guy a dictator, erroneously say that he started the war, and then invite him to the Oval Office and fleece him with a terrible deal is just ridiculous. This is what happens when you have an overconfident man-child as the president of the United States. Very important things go wrong. And this moment is going to be a huge problem because Donald Trump takes this stuff personally. Little Donnie doesn't like his feelings getting hurt. He doesn't like getting yelled at by other big guys. And he just gets all angry and fired up and ruins the world. But seriously, the stakes are extraordinarily high here, and we have maybe the least qualified leader ever negotiating the terms. And now little Donnie's going to run to Daddy Vladdy and say what a meanie pants Zelensky was. And I actually have no idea what happens after that because we're in truly uncharted territory here, but somebody's got to call a real president because this guy is not fucking cutting it.
Zelensky has officially left the White House. It's unclear right now whether or not Zelensky was forcefully told he needs to leave or he decided on his own that after him being berated by the vice president and president, that it was in his best interest to leave the White House. That being said, the press conference is officially canceled. And we also know that the minerals deal, which this entire thing was centered around, was also not. We've seen photos and videos of Zelensky getting into his car. He didn't get escorted out from the president or vice president. It was someone who I don't even know who it is. He got in his car and left. And then Donald Trump obviously put that truth online. I want everyone to understand this is not how America feels. What happened today, seeing Zelensky being berated, is unbelievable. I don't know how it even got to this point or why J.D. Vance did what he did. Ukraine is a country literally putting every single one of their men, their brothers, their sons on the line to save their country. And for J.D. Vance to do that and then Donald Trump not stopping it just doesn't make any sense. That being said, we're being told via Fox that the interview that they have scheduled with Zelensky is still planned, at least for now, and it's currently about 2:10 p.m. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated, so please share my videos and follow me for more.
This is so embarrassing. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, is at the White House. He's in the Oval meeting with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. There are cameras there because Trump's never going to miss an opportunity to dance for the cameras. J.D. Vance begins berating Zelensky, then accuses him of attacking them in front of the cameras, which makes no sense. And when Zelensky finally tries to answer all these rapid fire questions J.D. Vance threw at him, he says something about, you might be on the other side of the ocean, but you'll feel this war. And Donald Trump loses his shit. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. And then accuses him of, you're going to start World War III. Not the guy who invaded him. No, he's going to be the start of it. Then J.D. Vance follows up with, you campaigned for Kamala Harris. This is so embarrassing and childish.
Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. You have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From
yourself
the very,
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war,
to be right about
from
it.
the very beginning of the war,
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
of the
of
world.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you think
You're
about-
gambling with
what do you
World
think
War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
It's
with
back
all respect to you.
far more than a lot of people said
I'm wearing
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot
Entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire
today.
meeting, you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for
What-
the United
what
States
you're
of America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
This is why I can't be in politics. If I was Zelensky sitting there and Trump started speaking to me that way, I would lose my mind. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to cause World War III, you stupid orange fuck. Your buddy, the one you're the lapdog of, he's going to cause it. You know, like when he invaded my country and started killing my people, if anyone causes it, it's him and his actions. And you spineless fuck, and your little friend over there, who may or may not wear eyeliner, the two of you not having a backbone is going to make it possible. This is what the leader of the free world looks like. Losing his shit, getting offended, and like, blah, blah, blah. I will never stop being embarrassed by this fucking guy.
So I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about the implications of what just happened earlier today in the Oval Office with President Trump, J.D. Vance, and Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine. And then I'm going to talk about why Donald Trump hates Zelensky in Ukraine. Who was watching that interaction between them today? Europe was watching. European leaders watched that. And they are going to rally behind Ukraine in a way that they never have up to this point, even though they've, dollar for dollar, they've provided more aid to Ukraine than the United States has. They will rally behind Ukraine. And I think after that interaction, following that shouting match where Donald Trump berated Zelensky on live TV, Donald Trump canceled a joint press conference between the two of them, said that Zelensky's not ready for peace. And Donald Trump defines peace as doing everything that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump want Zelensky to do. They're a sovereign nation. They are our ally. And after this thing, Zelensky was supposed to sign a deal with the United States, giving the United States, or pledging $500 billion worth of Ukrainian resources and precious metals to the United States to pay back the United States when the United States hasn't even given $200 billion in aid. Zelensky should cancel that agreement. And Zelensky should tell Trump and J.D. Vance to fuck off. And Zelensky should leave and go to Europe and say, okay, guys, this is where we're at. And Trump has set up a circumstance where Zelensky can turn his back on the United States, because why not at this point? What's the upside? What is the upside for Zelensky and Ukraine to maintain any kind of relationship with Donald Trump and the United States? What's the upside? And if Zelensky and Europe team up even more than they already have, and Zelensky defeats Putin anyway, without the United States, then the only thing that Donald Trump has accomplished with his little dog and pony show today, anyway, without the United States, then the only thing that Donald Trump has accomplished with his little dog and pony show today is making the United States irrelevant. We've gone from being a superpower to on the verge of irrelevancy because of Donald Trump. And we're not even 6 weeks in. Think about all of that. Why does Donald Trump hate Zelensky and Ukraine? Trump didn't even know that Ukraine was a country before 2016. And when it became clear that Russia was interfering in the 2016 election using Facebook and data from Facebook through Cambridge Analytica, they were interfering in the 2016 election on behalf of Donald Trump's campaign. Then people on the right came up with a conspiracy theory that actually it was Ukraine who was interfering in the 2016 election on behalf of Hillary Clinton. And during 2016, 2017, 2018, anytime people brought up Russian election interference, Trump would always say, actually, it was Ukraine that interfered in the election on behalf of Hillary Clinton. Then we get to 2018, when it's starting to look like a strong possibility that Joe Biden might be the Democratic nominee for president in 2020. In early 2018, we were providing military aid to Ukraine. This was before Russia had engaged in its second invasion. The first invasion took place in 2014 under Barack Obama, and in the eastern Ukraine and the Crimean Peninsula. We were providing military aid for them for that, and we owed them a big chunk of aid, and Trump was holding it up. And that's when there was a phone call between Trump and Zelensky, and Trump was like, yeah, I'll give you this stuff, but I'm going to need you to do me a favor first. He wanted Zelensky and his government to open up an investigation into Joe Biden and his family for corruption and money laundering and all of that kind of stuff, and bribes in Ukraine, and Zelensky said no. That phone call was recorded. A transcript of that phone call made its way to the House of Representatives, which was controlled by Democrats at the time. And they impeached Donald Trump. It was the first time that he'd been impeached. And at that time, Donald Trump was in an absolute fucking rage for having been impeached, because it had only happened a couple of times before. He viewed that as the ultimate disgraceful thing to happen to him. And all of that is apart from Trump's affection for Russia and Vladimir Putin, which I think is pretty undeniable at this point. And so the United States has very strongly signaled that they are abandoning Ukraine. Zelensky should abandon the United States first and go back to Europe and make Donald Trump irrelevant in this process. Make him absolutely and completely irrelevant.
Everybody's going to be giving their opinions about what happened with Zelensky, as they should be. But let's step back and take a look and understand what actually happened today. J.D. Vance and Donald Trump brought Zelensky, President Zelensky, over here with the plans to attack and bully the shit out of him. Those were the plans. And it was in conjunction with Russia. We're not going to forget that after the election, Russia's number 2 stated publicly that Donald Trump now must return the favor to Russia after Russia helped him get elected. So this is all the context of what's going down. This is why they allowed a Russia reporter, state reporter, in there. And then they began to follow their script. And it was a script that involved Trump's toxic narcissism. There was no leadership. There was no intelligence or access of intelligence. None of that comes into the equation. A narcissist, the psychology of it, is he is emptying himself of whatever's toxic inside of him. And when Zelensky reacts with pain, hurt, fear, whatever Trump's goals is, that fills Trump's cup. And then you have a whole group of supporters that are racist, sexist, homophobic supremacists who hate the same way, and now they have a leader that hates the same people. They're not going to wake up.
they are going to keep Trump there because they hate the same people. So I don't think this exchange with Zelensky is going to wake up any MAGA, unfortunately, but what it's going to do is the rest of the world leaders, except for fellow dictators of Trump's, are going to see firsthand the danger America is in, the danger the rest of the world is in. What they showed, what they displayed there is no coming back from. There's not. This was probably the lowest Donald Trump could have taken America today in that room. And we didn't think it could get any lower, but it did.